Welcome back to the Atari ST Nostalgia GFA Basic tour. Now in the previous video we explored the mouse command and how to use it for getting input from these mouse coordinates and button status into our code. And in this video I want to actually use that knowledge in a more useful way than the last video because we are going to draw some graphics on screen using the mouse. So we can go into the editor and we can actually do some really simple code. 32. Of course I can do mouse X, mouse Y, mouse button. So I will read the coordinates from the mouse again, and then I will say if mouse button equals 1. What I wanted to do is I wanted to put the input from the status from the mouse into the draw command, which is the command to draw a dot on the screen. And in this case, I wanted to draw a dot at the coordinates where the mouse is actually there. And of course, else if mouse button is 2, which is the right mouse button, I wanted actually not to use the draw command, but I wanted to use the draw to command, which basically means the last dot where it was drawn, it will draw a straight line from that last draw command to the new one. So it will draw a straight line, and it's also easier to draw. If you hold the mouse button pressed, it can actually, it draws a bit better than just doing dots, but we'll see that. So I will do the draw to command, and else if mouse button equals 3. So if I press both the mouse buttons, I actually want it to clear the screen. And then I will loop this little code. This is a really simple way of getting the mouse to draw something. So if I don't make a typo, it will even work. So let's test the code. Now it seems to be working. And yeah, if I why is it? So there's an error in my code apparently. And yes, I'm drawing mouse X. That's not working. Let's do that again, shall we? Now it's working. See, and now it's actually, so it's drawing a dot at the position of my mouse when I press the left mouse button. And it will actually draw a straight line from the last position to my current position when I press the right mouse button, which I can use to draw lines. Now many of you will recognize this kind of drawing from many drawing programs they must have tried on the Atari ST. If I keep the button pressed, sorry, I can actually draw some nice fancy shapes, but if I move it too fast, you can see it gets a bit blocky. And my screen is getting a bit full right now, so if I press both mouse buttons, it will actually clear the screen. So this is the most simple, basic way to draw some code. Now, of course, if I press the space, if I press the space button, it will exit the program. Now I'm going to do something a little bit more extra. So what I will do is I will draw a box first, because I don't want to be able to draw on the entire screen. So let's draw a box, say from 100 to 100, and then 540, 300, and then do until. I will add an if statement because I wanted to read the mouse. However, if mouse X is greater than 100 and mouse X is actually smaller than this 550 and mouse Y is greater than 100 and mouse Y is smaller than this 300, then it should do this. And otherwise it should not do anything. I think this should work. This basically means I can only draw inside this box I'm drawing. I am not 100% sure if this will work, but I think, yeah, it should only do this part. It should only do this part if I'm in between these coordinates. Otherwise, it just should skip everything and go back into the loop and read the mouse coordinates again. So as you can see, I drew a box. I can draw inside it, so that seems to work. And I should not be able to see outside of the box. I can press anything I want, but it will not. But here it will actually do. And it's actually, I forgot to put the clear screen without my loop, within my loop. So there's still an error. How can I change that? It will actually. I could just say, instead of clearing the screen, let's just say run here. I think that also works. This is a bit better. So now I can draw inside the box. As soon as I try to leave it, it's sort of not working. There's actually one dot that got out. I don't know why. It's probably because yeah, I shifted the mouse coordinates compared to my box. So I can try that again. And if I press both mouse buttons, it will clear the screen. Basically, it will run again. And this is the tricky part. Is I think, nah, it just seems to be working fine. Maybe it's just a bit buggy. But as you can see, I've added a drawing easel to my code, which is also something quite fancy to do, which is nice. So sometimes it seems to leave the box. It probably has to do with the performance of the loops I use. I might analyze that later, and if I find something, I will put an extra comment to this video when I upload it, because yeah, I don't really feel like finding out or trying to edit the code now. I just added this in to see, like, to show that you can actually limit the amount of drawing you can do. Next to drawing, you can actually also use it for something else, the mouse. This was the draw command. But next to drawing command, you can also use it, for instance, for a fill command, which is also, let's just clear this code. For instance, if I put box 100, 100, let's draw it a little bit smaller, and then draw 340, 100, 540, 300. I made a typo here. 300, so this should draw two nice boxes, and it does, so that's pretty cool. And I should actually not have deleted all my code, because now I have to retype this part again. Do unit until the space bar is pressed. And of course we should remember the fill command. I will just make sure it chooses a number for the pattern. So it will choose any number between 1 and 24 to actually find the fill pattern. I'm just going to, because you can just use, you don't have to type these whole words mouse X, mouse Y. It's just easier if you have lots of code that you are sure you are actually using variables that are from this command, and you don't use X, Y anywhere else. But this is also a way to do it. So if button equals 1, then I want you to set the def fill to 1 to pattern. So pick a pattern from the fill group 2, like I did before when drawing like random circles and boxes and such, and then do a fill on X and Y. So start filling the screen starting from the mouse button. And else if button equals 2, I should just say, okay, just run the program again. This is the easiest way. It's not very fancy, but it works. So basically what I do now, I draw two boxes, and I will keep reading the mouse. Basically will get a random pattern all the time, read the mouse buttons, and if the button is pressed, I can actually fill the pattern. I can also put this one inside here. I might actually do that. It's actually easier. So let's put block move. Basically it reads the mouse coordinates. If I press the button, then it will actually set a pattern and then define the pattern as the fill pattern and then fill in the coordinates. If the button I press is 2, it will just, so basically if I press the right mouse button, it will just run the program again. So clear the screen, clear all variables and draw the boxes again. So as you can see, this also works. So I can put a fill here and it's not choosing a different one. Ah, yeah, it just chose the 2 same ones. It was just a coincidence. As you can see, I press the right mouse button to clear everything, and I can just keep filling. And you can see this fill command is actually horrifically slow. This is getting a bit too... Let's press the right one again. And the interesting is, if I try to do a fill in between here, like it will now fill just these bricks. You have to be careful with the fill command because some fills can actually get quite slow. But as you can see, this is also some function that was actually pressing the space ends the program. This was also a way to fill some parts in your drawing if you were using a drawing program. So these are 2 really easy ways to actually use your mouse to to draw stuff on your screen. I might use that later in a later demo. At the end of this series, we will probably build some demo program using all the knowledge we gathered. This was a nice way to actually use your mouse using just very default commands in GFA Basic. And as you can see, it's pretty simple. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time.